Hello everyone, hope you all are doing very fine. Myself Amit Kumar Mane, founder of Global Pharma Academy. Today we are going to announce a free course in pharmacovigilance. That is three different models we will cover in this course. So here this course is all about to learn basic about the pharmacovigilance so that you will get information about pharmacovigilance. But if you need to know more and in depth about the pharmacovigilance, then you can join our 3-month online certification course in the pharmacovigilance, where you will learn about the domain knowledge, skill development and placement assistance. But for that dedicated course, you will call to this number and get information about it. But in this video, I will told about the pharmacovigilance basic information. 3 points we will cover in this video. First of all, introduction to pharmacovigilance, history of pharmacovigilance and clinical trials basics, or you can say overview. So let's get started. First of all, we will tell you what is pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is actually made the word from the two different words. If we break the pharmacovigilance, pharmakon and vigilance. Pharmakon is a Greek word and vigilia is a Latin word. Pharmakon means a medical substance and vigilia is a Latin substance. It is meant to monitor. So basically it is to monitor adverse event. So the definition according to the WHO is the science and activity relating to detection, assessment, understanding and prevention of any adverse event. It means here you need to learn what is detection. Detection means if any adverse event is happening with any kind of the patient, then it is need to be reported. Okay, so detection is the reporting of adverse event. If the patient is under clinical trial, that can be reported by investigators, medical team. And if the patient report the adverse event while the medicine is already manufactured, it is marketed already, then it is reported by any healthcare professional. Okay, so it is a detection. But before that, you need to know what is adverse event. So adverse event is a event which is kind of adverse reactions, but it is unknown. Okay, if we take this into consideration by the way of example, so I will tell you the example of vaccine. If you took any Covaxin or Covishield vaccine, which is COVID vaccine, right? And once you took, maybe there are chances you will get a fever. But this is known. It is side effect, but it is known. You know these things, and it is already invented in the research. So this is called as adverse drug reaction. So if any patient suffers from severe headache, nausea, vomiting after administering the COVID vaccine, then it is called as adverse event, because this is not actually research or anywhere it is mentioned, but the patient is suffering these things. So that is called as adverse event. If we consider the definition of adverse drug reaction and adverse drug event, it will be such as adverse drug reaction, a response which is noxious, unintended and which occurs at a dose normally used in humans for prophylaxis, diagnosis, therapy of disease or for modification of physiological function. Whereas adverse drug event is any untoward medical occurrence that may be present during treatment with pharmaceutical product which does not necessarily have causal relationship with this treatment. So this is all about the adverse event. But adverse event and this is all about the adverse event and adverse drug reaction. So here we need to consider adverse event. Adverse event is of two types: serious adverse event and non-serious adverse event. If any adverse event can be managed by any medicines or any other procedure, then it is called a non-serious adverse event. But if any adverse event because of which the patient going to the hospital need to admit in the hospital, or it may be the patient is death, means such kind of serious adverse event is happening. So there are two types of adverse event: serious adverse event and non-serious adverse event. For serious adverse event, reporting should be done before 7 days. Non-serious adverse event, reporting should be done before 28 days. Okay, so this is all about the adverse event. But we move to previously about the detection. I say the pharmacovigilance is about detection, assessment, then understanding and prevention. So detection is to report, it is to report about the adverse event. The next is Assessment means the medicine because of which adverse event happening, we need to study whether the adverse event happening because of only that particular medicine or any other reason. Maybe there is age factor, maybe there is that reaction, molecular reaction will be there. So you need to find out this thing. And next is understanding. Once you know the reason for adverse event, you need to like more research about, further research you have to do. And prevention means to report to the regulatory body and also work to minimize adverse event in the future. Okay, so this is all about the pharmacovigilance. Now we need to know about the aims of the pharmacovigilance, why pharmacovigilance is needed. So before that, you need to know the pharmacovigilance is a part of the clinical research. Clinical research is a big umbrella where all the various department lies, like clinical trials, pharmacovigilance itself, then regulatory affairs, medical coding, medical writing, ETMF, literature review, lot of things. Okay. So in the clinical research, clinical trials are there, and there are different clinical trials conducted before the medicine is marketed. Okay, so there are two kind of the trials. First is preclinical and clinical. Preclinical means you can say phase 0, that is animal trials, which is conducted because of that because to know about the toxicity, to know about the dose dependency and carcinogenicity. And the animals used is guinea pig, rabbits, and different animals will be used there. Okay, but in the phase clinical trial phases, that is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, different volunteers are there. Okay, so according to the phase, the volunteers number changes and their reason is also changes. But the motive behind clinical trials is to make a safe and effective medicines to the public. Okay, so here different volunteers are there, and the medicines has been administered and observed that. So the volunteer who is taken into consideration for the clinical trials, they need to have a proper knowledge. Okay, and after their approval of the clinical trials only, we will take those volunteers for the clinical trials. But if we consider the scenario of the clinical trials, the sponsor need to conduct the actually clinical trial, sponsored company. Then next is investigators are there, who is a team of medical okay, then medical professional team, and there is ethics committee, means the protocol has been designed by the ethics committee. So how the clinical trials are conducted and how long it should be going on. Okay, so where the clinical trials will be conducted, mostly in the hospitals and especially in the government hospital in India, because there are lot kind of the patient, different diseases patients will be available. So this is very good thing for the clinical trials. They got various patient and from the various different physiology, or you can say the different age factors. Okay, so every that is better for the study also. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. The phase 4 is itself post marketing surveillance, which is you can say the pharmacovigilance. Okay, so this is all about the clinical trials. But now we move to again to the pharmacovigilance. Why pharmacovigilance is needed? As I say earlier, it is actually monitoring of the medicines, that is monitoring of the adverse event. So aim of the pharmacovigilance is as below: to improve patient care, safety to use of medicine, then enhance public health programs by collecting medicine information, then identify signals of serious adverse event, then detect problems related to use of medicines and communicate the findings in timely manner. Now we'll move to history of pharmacovigilance. You need to know how pharmacovigilance is invented. Actually, it is before 170 years ago, the study of pharmacovigilance, or you can say the innovation or the thinking about pharmacovigilance is needed, it started. Okay, so we will see one by one how the incidence is happening and how the changes, structures will be changes, on the legislation, or you can say the rules will be changes. On 29 January 1848, a young girl from north of England died after receiving chloroform anesthetic before removal of infected toenail. Because of chloroform or because of any other things, the girl is died. This is no any idea. But Sir James Simpson discovered that chloroform is effective and powerful for anesthetic agents. Okay, after some further study, it is invented that due to lethal arrhythmia and pulmonary aspiration, the girl was died. Then next incidents happening in 1937, 107 death in USA due to sulfonamide elixir containing diethyl glycol as a solvent due to solvent. The death actually happened due to solvent. Okay, so in 1938 there is need to monitor the drug before marketing. Actually, the thinking will be started in 1938, and because of which Federal Food and Cosmetic Act was invented in 1938. And after that, in the 1961, thalidomide tragedy happened. Thalidomide disaster is happening, which is very important. This question will definitely ask to each and every student who was doing career in pharmacovigilance. What is thalidomide tragedy or disaster? Actually, in 1961, this was happened. 10,000 babies are born in limb deformation. It means the babies don't have proper hand, proper you can say thighs, then maybe spinal cord deformation is there, then there is proper improper functioning in heart, lungs is happening, and this is all about 10,000 babies. It is a big actually the numbers you can say. But after research, it is invented that this is happening with only those children whose mother took thalidomide during pregnancy, because thalidomide was given for the morning sickness, and which is common for all the pregnant women, but thalidomide is given that time, and because of which the congenital malformation is happening with the babies. After that, in the 1973, it is proved that because of thalidomide, phocomelia developed. Then in the 1964, yellow card structured in UK. In 1965, development of European legislation. 1966, pilot study of Boston Collaborative Drug Surveillance Program started. Then 1968, International Drug Monitoring instituted by WHO, which 10 countries are involved there, participated, which is Australia, UK, USA, Germany, Canada, Ireland, Sweden, Denmark, New Zealand, Netherlands. In 1992, International Society of Pharmacovigilance started to promote pharmacovigilance. Then 1995, European Medicine Agency started. In 2001, Ultravigilance started, which is for the European countries for the checking or monitoring adverse event during clinical trials. In 2012, new European pharmacovigilance legislation started, and then in 2017, new ultravigilance format is invented. Learn. So this is all about the history of the pharmacovigilance, how the pharmacovigilance started. You can see in the image for more information. So in today's class, we learned like the history, introduction, various terminologies, and the clinical trial overview. So let's get connected. In the further modules, we will see more information about the pharmacovigilance. So if you like this video, if you like our initiative about the free course in the pharmacovigilance, just like and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more such videos. And also share this video to all the persons, all the people who wish to learn about the pharmacovigilance.